You might not be able to see her yet, but she is here, and they are from Souvenir Travel. I'm really excited about tonight's interview with these two folks because I'm really looking forward to getting back into traveling. So, Kelly Souvenir is a certified travel agent that has been in the travel industry for 6 years. She started her career at AAA as a travel agent, and after 5 years decided to go out on her own, and she began Souvenir Travel. She loves to help her clients experience life by visiting new destinations, which is perfect for Souvenir Travel. Bud Carr spent his working life in the insurance business looking for a fun, exciting post-retirement career. He joined Kelly Souvenir with Souvenir Travel, and Bud is also an experienced cruiser and traveler. He always brings so much great insight anytime that we talk about vacationing. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and actually, Kelly is my stepdaughter,
I
and
love
I saw her bio. I think she really sold her self short. She is an awesome and deep resource for travel. She's traveled a lot, cruised a lot, cruised on almost all the cruise lines, done European river cruises, and it was just a great timing when I decided to step away from the insurance world and she was in the travel world, and I could join up with her, and I've learned a lot. So
That's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So I know that we are live right now, and I know that Kelly is intending to join us. I wanted to ask her, and Bud, you may know the answer to this. It seems that most people have done what we've done, which is put their vacation plans completely on the back burner. Can you talk a little bit about what type of travel you are advising your clients to book now for the future? Like, what can we look forward to?
well, I think the travel or certainly anything overseas is probably out of the question for the rest of this year. So we're focusing on 2021 and beyond. And even the cruise lines, when they start opening up, their sailings will be limited and probably out of just U.S. ports. That again is our focus is next year when hopefully the world is quote more normal worldwide and we can all come out. That's what we're looking forward to.
I would definitely love to be able to travel at large again for sure.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Um,
certainly. I think in the past, the travel world, and I was guilty of it too. You were so used to doing something, right away. I want to go away, and I think we're all needing to just focus on the future. And in a way, that's a good thing because there's a lot of good deals out there. People can plan and budget a lot better. And
right. No, definitely. Now, I heard some folks were talking about, thankfully this didn't happen with my family, but I heard some folks talking about an issue um, with canceling. And I thought that there was a way to have insurance for that, like no matter like cancel for any reason type insurance.
okay. Well, for many years, there has been so-called travel insurance. And whenever I do a presentation, I usually talk about people's normal packing list of if it's certainly a tropical area, it's going to be bathing suits and suntan lotion, all the rest. And I always tell to any group I'm talking to, there's something missing, and everybody looks around and I say travel insurance you never know what can happen. And certainly this pandemic has certainly been a total unknown. And it's kind of a good subject for me in that I spent my working life in the travel insurance world. So this is certainly something I can speak about. So it from now going forward, it should be a mandatory choice for anybody when it comes to travel. First of all, there's always the unexpected things like somebody gets ill. Or a cruise line does have to cancel a cruise for, let's say, the ship is out of commission, and you can get your refundable fares and other costs back because of that. What has kind of happened is been enlightening about this crisis is your standard travel insurance is like most insurance. It's really a legal contract. And the coverage itself is what the insurance company will pay for. And the exclusions, like any insurance policy, are the things they do not pay for. And on the typical standard travel insurance policy, there's exclusions of things it will not pay for. For instance, it won't pay if you say, I couldn't go on my trip because I was sick. Well, they're going to want to see that you got treated by a doctor. You just cannot say, I wasn't feeling good that day. Or, for instance, most travel insurance policies will pay for trip interruption, where if a certain part of the trip doesn't happen. And in the policy, it'll say that it must be a delay of over 12 to 24 hours. And I did some studying on this, and one interesting claim that was turned down was a gentleman that went to the airport and his flight was delayed for a bit. And he just said, well, heck, I have that travel insurance. He just left and left the airport and decided to cancel his trip. Well, the fact was he didn't pursue the opportunity to make alternate arrangements, so his claim was denied. Kind of a nice discussion here before I go into the cancel for any reason. One of the really great benefits of travel insurance is most of these insurance companies, certainly the quality ones, also have a concierge service. So one of the great examples I heard about there was somebody in North Carolina that had a cruise in Italy. And of course, there was bad weather and flight connections were going to be a problem. She called the travel insurance company. Their concierge people got stepped in. They got her flights. They got her over to Italy where the cruise was leaving. She was met at the airport by a representative arranged by the insurance company, got her on the cruise. So again, that's a great side benefit of having travel insurance. Now, again, like most insurances, it'll have things it doesn't pay for. And one of those, a lot of people learned, is pandemics. So when it comes to travel insurance, and this has been around too, there's an option where you can get what's called cancel for any reason. And it usually costs more, basically because you're getting more coverage. And that kind of coverage will pay up to 75 or 80% of your non-refundable costs for any reason. So like a standard travel insurance policy, if you had a couple that had a nice honeymoon trip and the day of the wedding, one or the other one says, nope, decide they're not going to have the wedding. Well, the standard travel insurance policy wouldn't pay that kind of a claim. But if you had canceled for any reason, you could make a claim under that kind of policy and get a substantial amount of your costs back. So again, it's something we're definitely going to be recommending to everybody on future trips. In fact, it's just a great option.
So what is? I have two questions. First, like, how much more is the cancel for any reason insurance mean typically?
Well, it's roughly another 20 to 25% more on the policy, and it's kind of difficult to quote what the cost of the insurance is because it's all based on the amount of the either cruise or tour package or whatever the cost of the. But it's certainly something we're going to recommend, and I will recommend it to anybody out there that if you have a favorite travel agency or AAA or someone else you do your travel with, be sure to ask them about including or give you the cost for travel insurance. Also, too, for anybody out there listening or watching our presentation, if you've made some arrangements with another travel provider, you can give us a call and we can provide you the option of travel insurance. So you can buy it anywhere you'd like. You're not bound by whoever you made your original travel arrangements with.
Okay, and so they can call you at the 727-744-9160 number?
Yep, good number.
Perfect. So the other question I heard something. I was listening to the news, and I was driving, and I just heard this snippet about something about people where they had insurance, but they were supposed to get a refund, but they were getting vouchers or something instead of the refund, and like it wasn't supposed to be that way or something.
Well, we've, especially Kelly, she's got a lot of bookings she's been working on about rearranging. Let's take the cruise lines, for instance. That's where I'm most familiar. On the cruise lines, they're giving either full refunds in most cases, but what they are also offering is future cruise credits, where that you can take a cruise with them in the future, and they're even giving you up to 125% of your original cruise cost. So that means that next cruise you can book with them, you can either upgrade your cabin or have some other amenities you can add on, and it'll all be included by that premium that they're giving you by staying with them to book a future cruise. So
Okay, and
they're all offering, this has been a dramatic, serious event to them. So they're reaching out to make people as happy and comfortable and stay with them for the future.
well, that's great that that's optional for them. So that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what about all the social media? I hear people saying that it's going to look different, that there's going to be the mask and the social
Mm.
distancing. What do you know about that? What are your thoughts there?
Well, the little we're starting to hear is the whole travel industry is certainly sensitive to this because that's a people-intensive business. Meaning you get on a cruise ship, you're on there with a couple, 3,000 people. Or if you go to a resort hotel, there's certainly a lot of people, the pool areas, the common areas, and such. So it's going to be a whole new, different world. For instance, Royal Caribbean has announced that they've developed their own kind of mask for when they start cruising again. They're going to be probably limiting the amount of people that will be in common areas, say like casinos or the pool areas and so on. I read an item today, also by Royal Caribbean, where I think one of the greatest attractions and cliches of cruising was the buffet, including, all day long there's food on a cruise ship, and buffet where you can serve yourself and have as much as you want. Well, again, because the awareness and the desire to make cruising as safe as possible, I think the model they'll be going to is, if you will, cafeteria style. Well, they'll have a cruise staff serving the food to you rather than serving yourself. So there'll be a lot of changes. Uh, a lot of the hotel chains have been putting out a lot of social media and document about how they're cleaning, using disinfectants. I'm sure most of the hotel chains that in the past had breakfast buffets situations, they probably won't have those buffets, but will rather have a to-go type of packaged breakfast for you. So,
Kind of like a breakfast on the go type thing.
right. And actually, I'll be experiencing this firsthand. I'm taking a car trip over Memorial Day weekend and staying at a couple Marriott properties. So that normally would feature the breakfast buffet. So
Right.
interesting to find out how that goes.
I look forward to hearing. Um, Definitely, at one of our Tuesday morning meetings, the 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday mornings that we do through Zoom nationwide, cannot wait to hear how it goes because Marriott is one of the properties that we use when we travel, and that breakfast buffet is one of the reasons why, because we can always find some non-egg, non-pork for us,
Mm-hmm.
to eat, right? So it always works out really well.
Right.
So I have another question for you. With
Sure.
all of that, you talked for just a moment. You were touching on when we were talking earlier about all of the extra work, particularly that Kelly has been doing with the bookings. Um, can you explain to me what a travel agent can do for me that I cannot do for myself anymore?
Give you a very, very good example. A relative of our family, he and his wife had river cruise over in Europe planned the first early part of March this year, just when things were starting to envelop the whole world. But I guess, like many of us, you thought, well, I think it's going to be safe. So they went, jumped on a plane from Tampa, went over to Europe to take a river cruise. And when they got to the area where the cruise was going to leave, they were told at the time by the cruise line that they were going to close down the cruise. So here they are in Europe, and if they had done all this on their own, they'd be the one having to get on the phone, find a way to get back. Well, because first of all, it's family. Second of all, because Kelly's dedication to her clients, they reached out to her, and Kelly late at night was putting together plane reservations to get them back. And I'm sure many of y'all remember those first few days after the area started closing down. Airfare and travel was quite at a premium, but Kelly was able to do it, and it was albeit a little extra cost, but she got them back. And again, without the help of a travel agency and their savvy and understanding of things, they'd be trying to do that on their own.
All right. So a lot of the heavy lifting when things like this go awry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to track all this stuff down. I have
No.
enough to do.
And again,
Good
good travel agents are seasoned. They've been there, done that, so to speak. And Kelly certainly has done that. And I say for the rest of the travel agency, a good quality agent has been there, knows their way around the travel world and reservations, and can manage these kind of things that would be really a challenge if you tried to do it on your own. So a travel agent can certainly help you out in a pinch, but also if you want to, you got read about going to a certain place and have some questions about going there. Well, it's fun to poke around the internet looking for things, but it's another thing when you can sit either face to face or today with Zoom or so on and actually hear their experience.
right.
There's nothing like that because they can tell you, don't go here, don't go there, try this restaurant, don't go to that restaurant. So it's really the value of a good travel agent.
I definitely see that. Anthony Carpenter wants to know, do you think we will see more multi-country travel packages over the summer?
Probably not, to be realistic. I think I just was watching the evening news tonight, and people were just starting to move around a little bit in Italy. And even at that, there was a single gondolier with nobody in his boat paddling through Venice. And
Wow.
two or three people walking through other plazas and areas in Italy. Uh, so it's going to take quite a long time for certainly overseas travel to
So,
be more viable.
okay, so you don't think that anyone's going to be promoting kind of like a special package, like buy this summer, travel next summer?
Oh, I think that's going to be realistic as we talked at the onset of our visit today, is that um, I think the focus is going to be on next year and years beyond. And really in the travel world, good experienced travelers, they plan a year or 2 years ahead. So
Right.
I think the rest of us are going to have to get in that mode and not think we can just jet off somewhere right away. I think there's a lot more barriers to that right now, other than just trying to manage something real quick.
No, absolutely. So what about, you and we are in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to plan a little, like a staycation or, drive for 4 hours and
Yeah.
go someplace in Florida, where would you recommend right now?
Imminently, the Disneys and Universals will start opening. Albeit, let's be realistic; they too will have some social distancing protocols in effect, spacing, and Probably, and I heard one thing I read about Disney where they're going to limit table seating in all their restaurants to only 4 people at a time at a table. So they'll be distancing there for getting around Universal, Busch Gardens, and all the rest, I'm sure. But there's so many places throughout our state within there's been various travel guides that the one gas tank options for you. So as our state opens up, there's Orlando, there's the Naples, Fort Myers area, there's up the Panhandle, the Pensacola, beautiful beaches we have up there, the East Coast, the Cocoa, Merritt Island, the Kennedy Space Center. There's just so much available. The Keys will start opening up again. So I think that's where you're going to see, and where we'll be helping folks to travel. And I think one thing, just as other options, I think Airbnb used to be had grown to be a great option for people. In fact, Kelly put together a trip for she and her family last year in Europe and did the whole lodging piece of it with Airbnbs through Italy, France, and England. But there's been some issues lately with Airbnb on cancellations and refunds. The prime thing being that most, if not all, of Airbnb properties are owned by individuals. Now, Airbnb itself corporately has said if you have booked by a certain date and you want to cancel, they're authorizing full refunds, but they're getting some pushback, and it isn't always as smooth as they're wanting it to be. Again, because there's individual property owners, and I can appreciate where they're coming from. I've read a few pieces about Airbnb owners here in our area that they were very frustrated that they couldn't book people, or they had cancellations, and really a hardship for them. So I think we need to have a lot of sympathy and understanding for people. So having said that, I think a great option for people is to look at hotels. Yeah. Especially the major brands. You and I talked about the Marriotts. They've got, or any big corporate brand. You talk about Hilton or Wyndham. They've got all shapes and sizes and price ranges of hotel options. And they too are being very liberal with cancellation options. In fact, again, I'm traveling by doing a drive trip up to North Carolina, staying at a couple of Marriott hotels. And I've booked them both, and I can cancel all the way up to the day before.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, again, those type of properties, the good national brands there throughout the country, they understand people's fears and anxiety right now. So they're working to first get you back, and second of all, to make it as painless as possible.
Absolutely.
Speaking of local,
we got a question from Jamie Smith. She wants to know if you could book travel for someone returning to the States from France.
Well, have them give us a call after our presentation. We'll see what we can do.
All right, absolutely. Definitely.
But I was going to go on to say that, again, looking towards 21, 22, I talked about at our recent Crush group, but I wanted to put it out here in our broadcast that there's going to be far more options here in the United States. I spoke earlier about river cruising in Europe, which is one of the great experiences to do if you have a chance to do it. Kelly's done a couple, and I've seen a lot of presentations on it because they're intimate. The ships are small. It's not the crowded thing you might see in reference with the large Royal Caribbean type ships where you have 2, 3, nearly 4,000 people on them. And that was real exciting. Viking is one of the major river cruise lines in Europe. And they have announced they have a new ship that'll be sailing in 2022, aptly named the Viking Mississippi. That'll be first traveling along the Mississippi, and it only has 368 cabins. So that'll be limited in size, a lot of room to move around. Very intimate. Every room will be waterfront or riverfront in that case. So that's a great, again, river cruising is coming to the States, something to maybe look forward to. And that ship will be sailing in 2022. Speaking of 2021, there's American Cruise Line that's been plying the rivers throughout the Northeast, the Mississippi, up in the Northwest. They too have smaller ships, some of paddle wheel style. So that's kind of a neat
Oh,
little
that'd
thing
be really cute.
to experience. So as you mentioned, there's so many options here in the States, and um, I guess it goes. It says so many options. Give us a call. We can talk to you about that. It's always good to say tell us what are your desires, how you like to travel. It's very important to let us know what the budget is, and we can help you make the most of it.
That is absolutely fabulous. I really appreciate that. When you told me about that, like right now, you were just talking about the Victory, Mississippi, with the 328 beds or cabins rather,
Yes,
and I'm
Viking.
going, yeah, the Viking, yes. I'm going, wow, that could be great for like a women's retreat, for a wedding,
Hmm.
for oh, I don't know, a networking group event, you know?
Oh, and
It,
these river cruises are really, really special. They, again, they're small, intimate. They usually make a stop every day. They're only two or three decks. And what's neat on the Europe ones, and I'm sure that that's being replicated here in the States, they'll usually dock every day. The chef goes off to wherever area, sources out the food you're going to have that night, and it's a great, great little experience.
oh, that sounds fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Now, you know that John Watkins is joining us in the morning for Crush, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, fantastic. Do you have your questions? Do you have any questions for him ready? Don't share them right now, but have you have you got your list of how do I XYZ?
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This has been really good information, but I appreciate it greatly. Really do. So can I ask you, when travel opens up, what is the destination? What is your destination? Where are you going to go when it all opens up back up and you can go anywhere?
Well, personally, my favorite area is the Caribbean. We've made several trips down there to St. John and the Virgin Islands. We've got a trip booked there this coming December, so I'm holding that up to the image to uh, hopefully they'll be opening up. We also
Definitely.
trip planned for Hawaii in September. We're kind of wondering about that. They haven't completely opened. In fact, just to pass along some travel information, the state of Hawaii has been requiring that if you go there, if you happen to go there for travel, you must quarantine in your hotel or your lodging for 14 days.
Wow. Okay.
And in fact, I read the other day a little travel item that they arrested a guy for leaving his hotel room and maybe good or bad, he made some social media posts that said, "Well, here, look, I'm on this beach, and here, look, I'm at this spot."
Wow.
Promptly got him arrested for violating their rules. So hopefully that Hawaii will open up, and because that's just a great fun destination for U.S. travelers.
So Anthony Bailey is asking, is there any type of affordable travel for family with elderly parents going to places like Greece?
Well, there's great options. Again, that'll all depend on things opening up, but I know of plenty of options. Many of the cruise lines, when they get going again, have some great options for the Mediterranean, where you get to visit many ports along the way. And I just want to
That's
reinforce,
awesome.
the negative things. Unfortunately, the cruise lines got swept into this, right or wrong, because of the outbreaks they had, and we can have a lot of opinions on how that happened and turned out. But really, all of the cruises I've been on, they are extremely hyper sensitive to health issues. Last Princess cruise I was on, my goodness, there was the Purell stations. This was a year ago, before any of this was came about. There was Purell stations everywhere. They had an attendant they had a sink, two sinks, in fact, at the entrance of every one of the dining rooms with one of the cruise line attendants there, urging folks, please wash your hands before you dine.
Oh,
So
goodness.
sensitive to this, so that aside, I want to again talk about the virtues of cruising, because the greatest thing is you get on the ship, you unpack, and you just there you are. It's like your hotel floating along. And this gentleman was asking about in Greece. Well, cruises in the Mediterranean are awesome because you can start in Rome, you hopscotch around the Italian coast, and over to Portugal, and pass stop at French coast along the way, or go the other way and dot Sicily or the Greek islands. And again, just you stay on the ship, enjoy your meals on the ship. The ship docks, you do your excursion. So I big fan of the cruise industry. I think it'll turn out, they'll come back, and it again, it's a great option for travel.
That is fabulous. I cannot wait to hear how your car trips go.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. Tomorrow morning is going to be a big day for sure with Crush Networking. I do hope that our viewers will join us Tuesday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Crush Networking. They can go to crushnetworking.com/Zoom and register. They register once and they can attend all of the meetings for the rest of the year. Bud, what is the good word that we can leave our viewers with? What's one thing that you want everyone to know that's just positive about travel and where we're going right now?
Oh wow. You know what? I this has rolled around, and it might be somber because, but I think the quote, or FDR said at the onset of all the Great Depression, which I think that we're got some rough times ahead. He said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So if you are contemplating travel, talk with us or any other travel professional that you work with, and tell them about what your fears are. Ask them, if you're fearful of one place, ask them for options, and you know, we'll all take this together one step at a time. And I really, again, I think you picked up already. I'm a big believer in the travel industry. A lot of great people in it, and they mean well, and they want us all back.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight. I'm sorry that Kelly was not able to join us. She is a fabulous gal, and I look forward to her joining us next time for sure. Please, 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 please go through the comments. I hope that you're able to make yourself available and over the next few days to just kind of interact with folks here on Facebook as they watch and rewatch your live. Whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the replay, please go over to facebook.com/souvenir travelers, like the page, reach out to Kelly, reach out to Bud. They can really help you so much with understanding just even your travel personality and how you will enjoy traveling best. They're a wealth of information, always easy to talk to, a great help for sure. Bud, I will see you tomorrow morning
Yeah,
for class.
another shout out. Yeah, and I want to just do like you've been saying, and we got a great networking group. Come join us. A little different than the other ones out there, and we got some great people. So
I couldn't agree more. All right, Bud, have a great night. I'll see you in the morning.
same, Rebecca.